What?
It took the clippers out the trash can.
Ew! You're shaving your mustache.
I gotta look good for the camera.
Dude, I love your mustache.
It's still there.
It's
What is going on, guys? Double R here, back again today with another video. Today I thought would be a perfect opportunity to introduce to you guys the brand new shop. Also give you guys a quick car update because believe it or not, every single one of my cars are broken. If you guys are new to the channel, welcome. If you guys don't know, we just got this shop recently. I basically purchased this place to be able to do content for you guys, stuff all my cars in here, stuff all my tools in here, and be able to do the builds that I really want to do. I've been getting a lot of DMs and questions in comments and in Instagram about whether or not the shop is a mechanic shop or some sort of performance shop. And I'm here to clear the air right now that no, this place is specifically to promote the lifestyle that I've been trying to live basically my whole entire life. And now that I finally get the dream and opportunity to be able to do what I want, I'm here to share it with you guys. I've really been supported throughout this whole entire YouTube journey and this whole entire YouTube channel. It's really exceeded my expectations. I think you guys deserve a quick car update, being that we've had a lot happen in recent times. And what better car more appropriate to start this update off with other than my Q50. Now, if you guys are new to this channel and don't know, let me introduce to you guys real quick. This is my still in supercharged 2015 VQ37 VHR Q50 with a Top Gun's air-to-air conversion kit. Now, the thing about this car is this is my first one. This is what I started my YouTube channel off with. This is what I started building cars with. This is where I learned parts and braking stuff and sleepless nights, and the list goes on. It was all birthed from this Infiniti. Now realize this is my daily driver. I love this car and it is my most powerful car. It's probably got the most money spent on it and the most parts on it, but I do like other cars and that's why I bring it into this channel. I realize this is a big Infiniti Nissan based community, so I try to keep it that way because that's what my passion is for cars, is Japanese drift cars, JDM cars. But this is a little different, okay? Not a lot of people end up doing these kind of builds. And for good reason, I get it. It's a heavy car, it has 4 doors, the whole 9 yards, I understand. But to me, this is downright my favorite build, and let me go over it with you. Now, the thing that we all want to know is, how much power does this kit make? And I really wish I could give you guys a solid number, but you guys know the last time that we were on the dyno, we actually completely failed. Yeah, what you doing? Huh? What you doing? Oh, I gotta tighten this belt because of some belt slip issues. Now, we ended up getting those addressed thanks to some really good friends that I have all the way across the world in Taiwan. I'll put their link in the description as always. They hooked me up with one of the most beautifully made anti-slip brackets and custom tensioner pulley setups that I've ever seen. Considering we didn't have that during the dyno video, we ended up making 12.5 pounds of boost at 6,500 RPM before we ended up falling off to 5, and that was just consistent through every single dyno pull. Match the anti-slip kit on top of the belt with the blower, and now we're pushing 16 pounds of boost without issue at peak RPM, and this has been running pretty consistent. Now realize we are running on E85. The power difference from what we were on the dyno on 93 is significantly different considering we're boosted. Now I have not touched a dyno. I haven't even done a data log with Martin ever since we ended up having this anti-slip kit on, putting it on E85. He gave me a map to run E85 safely with these 1050 injectors, and so far it's been running beautifully. Now the only reason why I haven't been to the dyno yet is because honestly I'm kind of embarrassed. I hate bringing a not ready car to come and do a dyno pool. The only reason you should be going on a dyno is because your car is done and you're ready to make some power. Now it's not like we've had a ton of issues with the car. I mean, we've had this weird minor coolant leak, but I think that's because we've never replaced the thermostat gasket when we replaced the thermostat, because I never knew there was a thermostat gasket. gasket. And we just recently broke a rear axle. We busted the rear axle trying to go at 1/8 mile in the last video. And listen, I completely know this car is not dialed in to be able to do digs, but I mean, it's an 1/8 mile, come on. Now, what I've also noticed when we put the car on the lift just to check out the damage of the axle, by the way, it's a clean brake. It's like completely smooth. It's funny. We also noticed that the rear diff bushing was completely shot, so we might go ahead and just swap that to a full polyurethane bushing. But I want to just make sure that this car is completely dialed in on my end before we take it to Martin. Not running into any boost leaks, all couplers are tightened down, and just as least problems as possible, because it's not Martin's problem to fix my car, it's his problem to tune my car. So, and there's a bunch of people always trying to get tuned all the time, so I'm not really trying to be an inconvenience to anyone. If I had to make an educated guess, probably make some people mad. I really think this car is touching 600 horsepower. Full E85, 16 pounds of boost, an air-to-air conversion with a giant intercooler, 0 belt slip, and tuned by Martin. Yeah, this car is definitely touching 600 horsepower. But yeah, man, this car's treated us pretty well, and we're probably gonna have to get to fixing it this week along with the other cars that we have down, because this one is broken. Now, love and behold, this Z. Now, this poor little thing was my girlfriend's daily driver. I mean, that was a goal to begin with, but as you guys see, it's just not going our way. I'd hate to say this, but this car has completely been molested. I mean, the hood's coming off me just putting my hand on it. So you know who you are, you know who built this car. We'll keep it at that. I'm finding bolts in wrong places, and I'm finding wrong parts in weird spots. It's a really touched car. So this is really the only reason why I bought the car, is this engine in particular. And no, it literally has nothing else to do with any of this car, because I promise you, I freaking hate this thing, and I'll go over it in a second. So a couple of months ago, I got hit up by a friend of mine who told me that he had a Z sitting in a backyard for about 8 months, and he wanted to get rid of it for about $2 grand. Apparently it was his ex-girlfriend's. He bought it for her, they broke up, whatever the case may be, and then he wanted to sell the car after they broke up. So this is it. This is the ex-girlfriend Z, and I don't know what she did to him, but man, she this car up. So let's go over the outside real quick, and I'm not talking about the body kit or anything like that. I just wanted to make a point that these Vossens are mine, okay? And that is literally the nicest thing that's on this car. There's holes in the front fenders. I think the car was repainted. There's overspray everywhere. There's absolutely no side skirts. The rear fenders are completely cut, and not even cut, they're chopped, man. They're terribly done. The worst part about this whole entire build is the fact that this Z does not have side pillars. And I'll tell you guys right now, if you guys ever owned the Z, you guys know that this is probably the most expensive piece of plastic that is on your 350Z. They cost about $600 a pillar, and that's for this side and the driver's side. So you're looking at about $1,200 for side pillars. I think that was my golden moment, and when I decided to say F this car. We do got some plans for it, but that's gonna be for a later date. We got some surprises for her, so I can't wait to introduce it to you guys. Like I said, really the only reason why I bought this car is just for the engine itself. Now, I saw the paperwork, I found the previous owner, everything was legitimate. This engine has less than 40,000 miles on it. For 40, this is basically brand new. When I'm telling you guys that this engine has less miles than any single one of my cars, I'm not kidding you. This Infiniti Q50 came from 2015. It's about 13 years older than this Z, and this thing has double the miles that this Z has. We ended up getting her a bunch of new car parts. I'm talking about silicone hose kit. We got a brand new O2 sensors. We got a brand new ignition coil packs, fuel injectors, all new gaskets. We cleaned up her intake plenums and manifold. We got our brand new radiator, new fins, fan motors, spark plugs. Literally every single thing you could think of that could possibly tune up a car that's been sitting in the backyard for about 4 months. There's so much of a checklist on this car just alone that we could dedicate like a whole entire week and a whole bank account to it. Now we gotta love this little smarty at a party. Before I decide to update you guys with this car, let's have like a quick moment of silence. We ended up getting into a pretty bad accident with this car. Now, let me explain, because I don't think I told you guys really how it happened, why it happened. I really think the only thing you guys saw was the passenger side just being sent into the wall. This is our 1991 Nissan 240 SX Coupe, and I freaking love this thing, man. This was gonna be like my student drift car. This is what I was gonna learn all my skill and get all my seat time in. That didn't last really long. My second drift event in, and we sent the passenger side straight into the wall. So this 240 SX was built before me. Now you guys gotta realize this car is like 30 years old. It's probably been through like 6 or 7 different owners, had so many different hands on it. We got a seat in a roll cage, so we've had some people put some decent seat time into this car. We have full PBM suspension in the front and rear. Also, this car came with a really cool PBM angle kit as well. So this car, like I said, 30 years old, things go wrong with it. We're building it every single second. And what we just got done doing is the valve cover gasket, spark plugs, and brand new fuel injectors, because this was having a bad misfire. And we actually fixed it right before the event. We also swapped in a brand new clutch fan that's broken now. And we were pretty much getting this car dialed in to be ready at the track. Now, the only thing that I didn't do, because I was waiting for it to come in and it was taking forever to be able to find it, was arguably the most important thing I needed if I even decided to go to the drift event. This car has the leakiest power steering pump known to man. It is basically non-existent, and I took it upon myself to completely ignore it and take this car to a drift event, which is a really bad idea because power steering is arguably one of the most important things that you need. We got a small bend here. There's no bends in the strut tower, which we got really lucky with. This brace is to hold up your front bumper, and it's actually really rare, so I'm pretty sure we could bend this out. I don't care about this bash bar. The radiator is actually perfectly fine. It's not cracked, no coolant, no oil leaked out. Literally, I think the only thing that leaked was this battery acid. We haven't touched it just because we didn't want to get none on us, and I'm not sure how safe that is. Now, as far as this part of the frame goes, where the fender attaches to, is pretty much just destroyed. There's no pulling this out and fixing it, because once metal bends, it like loses its rigidity. And really, I think the only reason why we're gonna pull this out is so we can make some clearance to be able to actually pull the battery up, because yeah, that thing is stuck in there. Same thing for this coolant reservoir, it's stuck in there, and this fuse box is just jammed. Now, there's one spot that concerns me, and it's this small little bend right behind the strut tower. Now, I don't want to tell you guys yet exactly our plans on this 240 since we already have everything in the works. I want you guys to be surprised once we have everything dialed in. But for the time being, I just want you guys to put in the comment section if you guys think that this 240 is salvageable at all, or if you guys think we should just get a new chassis. Now, this 350Z, one of the most cleanest favorite cars within my fleet. This is an 03 350Z with a VQ35DE in it. We got this car for a sick deal. It came with a brand new CD009 transmission. We just swapped a brand new Z1 clutch in it. We also put a Z1 plenum spacer on it. We did some tuning up, got rid of the cats, put on some test pipes, changed the fuel injectors, spark plugs, and everything like that. And now this car doesn't run. So when we first put this car on the lift, it ran beautifully, but we were having this weird issue to where it wanted to bog out at high RPM. So I pulled the spark plugs, pulled the ignition coil packs. Come to find out, they're actually soaked in oil. So that's a huge indicator that our valve cover and valve cover gasket were just shot. I pulled both valve covers off, driver side and passenger side, checked out all the spark plugs, and every single one of them were soaked in oil. We had the car on the lift for about 3 days until our valve covers came here from Z1 Motorsports. Thank you guys for hooking me up always. I'll put their link down in the description below if you guys are looking for any 350Z or Z parts in general. Come to find out that the car doesn't want to idle correctly at all. It runs like crap. It doesn't want to rev up, and let alone put it in first gear. You're asking a lot out of this car. Literally within an hour, we took everything back off and put it all back on again. Make sure everything was torqued down. We cleaned everything up, and it ran a little bit better, but it still ran like shit. That's probably gonna be the next thing that we're working on. So we can start putting this to the side, focusing on more dialing it in for the track. That way we don't really worry about messing up our really expensive tires. And it's most likely gonna be our drift car. So we were about to get working on the cars, but I thought this would be a great way to introduce anyone new on the channel, all the cars that we have to offer. Also, for you guys who've been long-time subscribers, to give you guys an update on the fleet, where these cars are going, and what our plans are for them next. Also, I just want to say, guys, that these are literally all my favorite cars. We have a 240, we have a supercharged Q50, we have 350Zs, 2 of them, me and my girl matching. Like, this is literally a dream come true, and I literally wouldn't be able to do it without you guys and your guys' support. And all of you, make sure to hit that like button so that way we can continue to keep on doing these builds, push more videos out to brand new people, grow this community, build this platform. And this is really the start. I'm excited to see what we can do. I'm excited to see what this community can build, and I'm just really grateful to have you guys on my team. So I appreciate you guys for liking this video. Like I said, this is my fleet. I'm Double R, and I'm out. Peace.